Progress, for the first time in basically history, did not win the world first race. Are they washed up? I don't know. Salad Baker's number one? I don't know. The world first this time came out of China in the form of Old School. Usually China does not actually participate that hard in the race to world first, so that was almost surprising. Followed by Avatar, EU, then Progress, and Welcome on NA. Benediction NA. Shout out to all the boys in Welcome. My boy Dregs is in there. All right, let's watch this. I'm going to this one, actually. Not this page, not this page, this page. Okay, so first of all, I closed the page that has it all, but there's only like, I mean, right now it's showing 250 guilds that have killed Kil'jaeden. There is a massive drop off on guilds getting stuck on Brutalis. And then the hugest one really is Maru. Only like 3% of guild attempts, 3.7% earlier, as of earlier today, of attempts on Maru have actually killed it. And then Kil'jaeden's like 7% of attempts. Old School apparently made it look really easy with a very clean run. And it took them 51 minutes. Progress, 58 minutes. Welcome, shout out, 1 hour and 5 minutes. Let's go. Okay. Last thing to note before we even watch the run itself is their composition is the hunter comp, because hunters are awesome. Let's just say hunters are really tight. Fragrance, Brain Deadly, Night Moon. So 3 actual BM hunters, 1 survival hunter, 1, 2, 3, 4 warlocks. 1 is obviously Affliction. 2 BMs. Is this true? 4 enhanced shamans. What a slapper. I didn't even notice that. 4 enhanced shamans. All right. Wow. Going in for it. Let's watch this. All right. We're watching it obviously on DoYou. As you can see on the side, we have some really nice suggested videos. Is there a way to do double speed one time? All right. Ultra clear. Sweet. Ultra clear content. All right. Two hands with 2 characters logged out. Oh, okay. Yeah, Rogue. The Rogue in here actually is giga pumping. The Rogue in here is giga pumping. Let's see. They're just waiting to get in. And all right. Entering in the raid, you're going to do your very first skip. The very first skip of the raid. So the big thing about races to world first is they're almost consistently not riddled with, but like you do as much skipping as like humanly possible. As much skipping as humanly possible. So Invis and Rocket Boots, this first skip, Progress actually slightly messed up on. You can see that there's drums, there's swiftness potions. There is invisibility potion after. And you also, now they have, they're gnomish cloaking. So now they're using gnomish cloaking and running forward. They also use nifty stopwatch, like literally using basically everything with a sheen of Zanza on. If you can make it, you make it. Other people are going to die, and I'm assuming they're going to summon them, anyone who died. Oh no, they're just going to die here and res up. Progress did the same thing, actually. Petri. They're going to do a Petri. Some people are going to die and res up. Some people are going to Petri. If you Petri, you get stuck in it. Progress Petri. I watched that. They swap shamans constantly for hero cooldowns. That's so sick. Also, it was announced that in Race to World First, you were absolutely allowed to use battle chickens. So it was announced that in Race to World First, you could use battle chickens. They're getting kind of not really owned by this mob, not moving back or despawning these. Everyone else is stuck in a Petri. You can't like cancel Aura a Petri anymore. Yeah. This was absolutely Sweat Lord. Yeah, dude, this is the way. I'm pretty sure you could use chickens wherever, but I'm not. Maybe it was only on trash. Yeah, let's go to 1.5 speed for this part. You're getting some of these ads come out. They're explodey. People are rezzing. They're going to kill them and get everybody back into the raid with some summons and whatnot. So I just moved it to double team or double speed. They're going to get rezzes out and hopefully summon. Let's see. All right, I'm going to double speed while they do their summons. All right, twice as fast for all the fun. They use chickens on Brutalis. Okay. See, we'll see that then. Look at that Glaive Rogue right there. And the Rogue single target DPS is actually huge, and it helps the hunters a lot, right? With improved expose, which also is crazy for the sake of this fight, or this raid is mostly dealing with bosses right now. This raid is most of the time you're just trying to fight bosses, so you're not as worried about things like trash damage, even though rogues can do great trash damage, but obviously Blade Flurry is on a 2-minute CD. It's mostly spent on doing bosses. So everyone's here. They get all buffs up. They mount up. Soothe, skip. And they're literally just skipping as much. Like, that's really the name of the game in Race to World First is skip. It always is. It's just skip as much as humanly possible. I'm intrigued to see what trash damage requirements are going to be for speedruns. This, you actually have to kill this Pat. If this Pat was bad, they might have had to wait for it, but it's in a really nice position. Like, if it was right next to the other pull that they just skipped right before this, they might have had to wait. So many Spectral Tigers. Oh, yeah, dude. So yeah, they get Spectral Tigers up the wazoo over here. You can just buy the Spectral Tiger mount. It was like a mount you got from it was a mount you got from like a promotion, right? 6-month sub, yeah. Zip, give me 1 second here. Zipalicious. God. These mobs are like, all of the trash at the beginning of the raid is relatively dangerous if you don't CC it, but these mobs by themselves, these big robots, are very, very simple and easy to deal with. A lot of guilds used arcane resistance on this in Racer World First. It doesn't look like they're equipping any arcane resistance. I can look at the logs, but it doesn't look like they're equipping any arcane resistance for Kelikos. Kelikos doesn't really show up on the logs as if it was like a parse thing. Kelikos you can't parse because you need multiple people live logging, or basically everyone live logging, for like a consolidation of the logs to go together, because not everybody is like in one realm at the same time. I don't think there's any other way for them to deal with that. But we do see the first portal go out and everybody went in. They sent down quite a few people actually, or maybe people are just out of range. Second portal goes down. Warlocks haven't gone down yet, or at least maybe not all of them. They probably, if they're min-maxing this, they probably sent one Warlock down, the Warlock that's Curse of Wrecking, because this is a extremely melee heavy composition. And in the second Warlock group, in the second portal group, they did send down the Rogue. So I can't see debuffs on his frames, which is interesting. I can't see debuffs on his frames, so I can't tell you which debuffs are all up. But by now, they probably have Curse of Wreck. And they're actually giga blasting this boss. Like, they're taking this boss down so fast. You really want to do all of your damage, or like really peak your damage, use CDs and Bloodlust down below when you're killing, what is his name? Whatever, the demon guy. Sarthe, something like that. You never know. But even in their first, like, they're not even going to potentially have to send a second group down, or a group down for the second time. After the third group is being brought back up, they're at 17%. They're ready to push the boss. So this next portal that spawns, they're literally going to push the boss. They also should potentially spread out here to not be so... Yeah, all right, they're spreading out here to be more safe. Because a portal, one portal on that could have really... That could have killed, like, most people. That's probably the biggest, like, flaw that can happen for a lot of people right now, is if a portal goes up, after you come back up after the portal, or after the demon realm, a lot of people tend not to move and just start DPSing the dragon again. But if you do that, a big portal could spawn and you just die, right? 3 lusted Bis BM hunters versus low armor demon. Yeah, they're shredding. They're shredding. That's really why they're bringing, like, the composition they have. The single target DPS from hunters, Bis-geared BM hunters, is so solid. I mean, they also have a rogue here too, right? Rogue obviously has glaive, so he's strong against demons, but he's also just the exposed. It's nuts. Onwards, 2 Brutalis. 1 boss down, 0 deaths. Very clean kill of Calicos. This is the second easiest fight in the raid. Hunters are B tier cap. Hunters are what they are, you know? Hunters are skipping all the trash where hunters historically have fallen short. Yeah, exactly. Right? There's no point not to bring a bunch of hunters if you're skipping all the trash, unless you have, like, interestingly enough, progress. I would say progress. I don't know if they have it absolutely. Like, Overclock has a really strong one too, but progress has one of the most insane like warlock cores, and so unless you have warlocks that are doing like 3k DPS consistently on single targets, hunters are generally going to be a really, really strong play. Progress had 2 unlucky soothe resists that pulled 2 trash packs that they needed to kill, which cost them quite a bit of time. They lost by 7 minutes total, but like a couple unlucky things happened for them. They basically were same pace, if not potentially faster. I'm not 100% sure. I can't say yes or no. And now it looks like they might be already doing new summons. While they wait for the RP, this would be a good time for them if they wanted to swap some shamans and make sure they have all lust, but they do have some lust. You can see, holy shit, like behind his frames, I think they literally have a full 40-man raid group technically together that they're bringing in new lust for every pull. That's actually crazy, and that's kind of awesome. That's actually insane, and it's definitely awesome. I heard Progress gave their Thordal to a warrior instead of their survival hunter who brought an owl pet. That's false. That was a debate. They gave Thordal and Black and Naru Sliver went to the hunter. Lucky Thordal and Black and Naru Sliver straight to a hunter. Okay. Skull of Gul'dan. I believe in these raids, dude. This is like such a weird thing to say, but like it's true. A lot of the times on the Chinese realms, people will rent out their characters, BIS geared characters, to top guilds to do like world first or speed runs. So pretty much if you never got a Skull of Gul'dan to drop, you just use a warlock that has Skull of Gul'dan. Super TOS, but it is absolutely like commonplace there. It's commonplace there. So everyone in here, I would assume most of the healers even have Skull of Gul'dan. And you can also see on the right side, the rogue is pumping 3k DPS, 2.8k, and 2 of the hunters 2.8k also. They're just blasting. BNS to hunter first in a 4 warrior comp, is that the right play? I don't know how Black and Naru Sliver rates for melee. If you exclamation point BIS at the bottom of the Google Doc, there's a comparison sheet that was made by, I forget his name, but someone in the Hunter Discord that shows the exact like DPS breakdowns of every physical item for every class. I don't know, if you're playing the survival hunter, you might want to like gear him up because it buffs the whole raid. It depends. Like gearing in this phase is obviously Thordal should absolutely go to a hunter, but gearing in this phase is not too scary. I mean, it's the end of the game, right? You see that the blazes are moving over. This blaze right here might actually eat a slash. He might have to take like a step further to left. It looks like he's gonna be fine, but like blaze is eating. This would be the second slash. This would be quite a bit of damage if they did eat a second slash right there. It could hurt them quite bad. Fragrance took a ton of damage there and got really low, but they're looking fine. This is actually, you're only seeing 1 slash, at least. I don't know if there's a resist or something. 1 slash over here on the side of the warlock that we're looking at. They did run 2 Shadow Priests. Yeah, they did. But I think that's... for healer mana, it was an interesting choice. Yeah, Thordal Hunters will be the best single. Yeah, Thordal Hunters are going to be unreal, right? Here, Puko. Thordal Hunters are Thordal itself is like the biggest single item upgrade in the game. It's unreal. Yeah. Puko, I permitted you. You can link now. Yeah. Shadow Priests, yeah, Shadow Priests do a lot of raid healing throughout this raid in this, and the mana on these longer fights is really juicy. There's 0 deaths here again, making it look really easy. Old School coming in really clean, and Fragrance, all like their hunters and their rogue are, look at the pump from the rogue. 2.8k DPS from the rogue. Yeah. Are you first up for Thordal? If it drops ever. We'll have to see if it ever drops. All right. They're instantly going to get into position for Felmist. There's this little bit of RP that they have to wait for. A little bit of RP. They're going to stack in. They did have 2 deaths at the very end. Unfortunate. Probably to the flame at the very end. And now they're going to stack into their groups. I'm not sure how they're going to be grouped up 100%. It might be in the normal 4 group situation. But right now, we've got a little bit of RP. RP. DMG on Disc, something they did on Brutalis. Let's look. They had a Masterwork target dummy drop, taunt the boss, and eat the stomp. That's sick. That is so sick. Wait, let's go back into their logs. Also, did they use Bag of Marbles on the boss? Enemy. Target dummy, you can't see right behind me is target dummy spawn effect, which is right here. Screech up normal. I don't think they use Bag of Marbles. Oh, they're Horde. Duh. Never mind. They didn't use Bag of Marbles. Only Alliance. RIP. If you're Alliance, obviously use Bag of Marbles. Super easy. But anyone else? Link to the Chinese bod. Yeah, I have it here. Let me link it to you right here. Exit full screen. Will a Banshee? Yeah, it does help. It can like kind of resist, or I forget the wording for it, but it doesn't have as much effectiveness for higher level targets, but it works. You can try it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the fizzle. So the way they're kind of spread out here is semi-intriguing. They're not in like the traditional 4 groups, but they are all getting like a Mass Dispelled, which is really nice. And then they're also not too stacked up for the green beam, which I forget what it's called, to chase people. Then they're just gonna blow these up. Seed of Corruption, go brrr. And now you just dodge the boss. You just have one person calling this out. We, in my guild, ate this like twice. It was... Once you're used to it, it's super obvious which way the boss is going. And just have someone who knows how to call it. And always kind of stack in the middle too, because then you'll see where the boss is moving and you have a shorter like range to move. Never kind of be stacked on like one side or the other. And then you can kind of go and meet the boss, right? Boss is now over here on the right side. They can go and meet the boss, and they're fighting the boss over here. It's going to be a lot faster to kill the boss, to kill Felmist, if you go and meet him, instead of have him land and then run back to where you are. You don't really need a static tanking position if you're used to it. I really do like, too, how they have like 4 groups right here. They're only running 1 actual physical melee group. So that group is kind of just directly behind the boss, instead of having a melee group on both sides of the boss. So if you're running 1 like physical group, you can just have it right on the back of the boss and then like a little diamond behind the boss. And they're going to basically pump them down right after this phase. During this blue beam, again, I forget what it's called. I can even look. You're usually just sitting there and like DPSing as much as you can. It's demonic vapor. during the blue beam or the green beam, demonic vapor that's just being shot out, you're just sitting there DPSing. If you're any sort of ranged, and if you're not the one that's targeted that needs to run away, you can also get like, as the boss kind of flies by you, you can get like dots up on him. You might be able to get like a shot up as he flies by. It's sketchy. It might not be worth it, but you can run towards him and get to like attacks going. You can see that he got an immolate going before Felmus actually landed. So that is absolutely a good play. And they get some juicy protector tokens. Now onto one, a little bit more RP, and then they get to actually do the gauntlet, which is actually really easy. These mobs don't respawn very quickly. And let me slow this down because I'm in double time still. These mobs don't respawn very quickly. So there, you can take your time with the gauntlet. Absolutely. This is something that like people remembered as kind of more intimidating than it is. And you can have like a druid forward if you have, especially if you have a boomkin or a resto druid, they can just root the little imps that you're going to see that come in. The imps, they actually just do an explosion when they die or when they hit people. You can just either have like someone ahead meeting them and run into them, which they just had like a prop paladin run into them, or you can just root them and they'll explode by themselves. You can fully root them. You can't slow them, but you can root them. You might be able to slow and just concussion shot doesn't work, but you can just root them. They're like insignificant, completely insignificant. Or again, they just have their paladin tank or a paladin tank standing ahead. It actually looks like a potentially ret paladin. I'm not 100% sure, but they just have someone standing ahead just eating the damage from. They don't hit that hard. They really don't hit that hard. You want this Lox weak aura in the middle with the cooldowns? It's very clean. So that he can track everything. It is very clean. And he has like thresholds of like, this little dot's probably where you can't seed anymore, right? Below like 6% mana or whatever. Every time you get the invisible mobs, you just sit there and kill them. Again, there's usually no rush. If you wipe on the gauntlet, you have to start over. Like, nothing's ever going to respawn on you. Rarely. But wiping on the gauntlet will add up to time too much. So the gauntlet's not very long, and you should just, there's no need to rush. Just, it's an easy way onto Eredar Twins, and then you're going to skip the next trash pack right after the gauntlet anyways. So just take your time, move up, move out of little poisons on the ground. And then what we had in my raid was a ninja pull of this last pack on the gauntlet. Don't do that. Easy easy. Yo, Sneaks, thank you so much for the tier 1. 11 months. Let's go, dude. 1 month short of a year. We're getting there, man. Thank you so much, Sneaks. Did he say hi, stay safe on the top of his stream? Did he? Let's go back. Where? Someone type it out in English. Maybe it happened. I missed. It was in red letters. Ooh, floating across. Roasting Herb with the 5 gifted also. Let's go, dude. Thank you so much, dog. Make me feel better for not getting Thoradol to ever drop. And my 1 kill so far. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted, man. Appreciate it. Once you get through the gauntlet, right there, you can actually dispel the MDs. But once you get through the gauntlet, you're kind of chilling and moving directly onto, yeah, still no Thoradol, I know. You're chilling and moving on to Eredar Twins. There's one more pack that you have to deal with, but there's a pack right in front of right there that everyone will always skip. You just hug the right wall. I'm sure you guys, if you've been in here already, have done it yourself, but there's a pack in front of this ramp that you always skip. And then this is the last pack before Eredar Twins. So let's go to 1.5 times. Yesterday for 9 hours. Glad you guys boined down KJ. Yeah, it took us a while. It was frustrating to say the least. Yeah, you can see that the hunters are also fell mana potting. You see the dart yeah, that's all. You can see that the hunters are fell mana potting. They have a bat buff, and I'm not sure what they're using as a tank here. Let's see what they're gonna use. It looks like a paladin tank. Yep, they're using a paladin tank. So paladin tank, we also use a paladin tank. You can use a warlock tank, but then that means that they can't DPS. I think paladin tank, if you have one, is a really good call. I think everyone's gonna move to paladin tank, at least for now, unless there's a new strategy that comes out. And then they're just DPS giga pumping. The hunter's finally setting his pet. For hunters, you can actually leave your pet on like the right side here or left side and send your pet in like once you start the fight. It takes way less time than running all the way down this entire ramp. And then conflagrates, just make sure you get out for conflagrates. That is the biggest issue on this fight. This phase 1 is absolutely everything. If a conflag goes out and it hits the raid, you die. It's really easy to deal with as long as you have like a weak aura like the Thames Pack or DBM, and it just announces who has conflag and that person just runs out. I don't think I've really seen any real issues with it as long as people are paying attention. We will have issues definitely in GDKPs, but it's a relatively simple mechanic to deal with. Now, we're also just seeing the paladin tank casually kiting these fires, and whenever the shadow damage goes out, the shadow fury or whatever goes out on the raid, the paladin tank just runs into the raid and takes the shadow damage. It's just so he can drop all his stacks and then just goes back to kiting. This boss can melee you after like right after it does that little shadow debuff. So if you're too close, you can get meleeed. If you're using a warlock tank especially, it can get just instantly clapped. But that was just really clean. Again, just another clean kill, and Old School is making this look absolutely easy. And they're probably, actually no, I doubt they're gonna swap. Yeah, they might swap shamans. They might swap shamans again. You can see, actually, look here. All of the shamans are out of range, and now they're getting in range. Look at this. Let me go back. Yep, all of the shamans are out of range. They literally swapped all of their shamans. Oh my god. Gaming. Absolutely gaming. Yeah, if you get too high stacks of the fire debuff, like it froze for a second, and then all of those names swapped, and they're all now inside of the raid. All right, let's go. Okay, so they're swapping all shamans for bloodlust, which is pretty sweet, to be honest. And then a lot of trinket swaps. There's cooldowns. You're using like potions, trinkets as often as you can in any sort of speedrun situation or race world first situation. Looks like a paladin tank picking all of these up, potentially gonna bubble as they die, but probably not even necessary. If it's just the paladin tank there, he's not taking too much damage. This is the section with the most ads or the most trash that you actually have to kill. I'm not sure if it's possible to really skip that much of it. I think things can see through stealth, but I never actually tried, so yeah. But yeah, if you're in the range stack on Eredar Twins and you get too high of fire debuffs and the shadow mob isn't casting the shadow fury on your group, then you might need to jump down and eat some shadow blades, which is just an AoE ability that the shadow mob, the one that all the melee and you are all attacking does. You might need to jump down. We skipped most of it. Oh, okay. So it is skippable. You could probably use hunter skips too, right? This is the part that screwed progress. They did some type of trash skip which didn't work. Ooh. Paladin bop. Ooh, okay. Oh yeah, same thing, right? Literally like the same thing. Do you have a link to a clip of it or a VOD? If so, let me know. I'll permit you. Yeah. Hold the hound with Paladin Bop, and we mount and ran past the second hound. There we go. In the Newman run. Okay. I'll get it for you. All right, DP shot. Let me know when I'll permit you. Yeah, as if you don't expect to wipe on Muru, you don't really need to like worry. And any of these guilds going for world first, your plan is not to wipe, right? Any guilds going for speed runs, your plan is not to wipe. Although for speed runs, traditionally Warcraft logs doesn't allow you to skip trash that's in your way. It only allows you to skip trash that you technically don't need to pull. So I would expect almost all trash. We're going to see how much trash needs to be pulled. The most trash that we're going to be able to skip on Warcraft log speedrun rules is probably before the first boss for this raid. On to Muru. They have all Bloodlust again because they swapped out characters, right? I would assume Progress lusted 3 lust right away. If you can pump this boss down to like a really low percentage first, you can do a lot of damage. And so we saw just everyone pre-casting, oh my god, and going in. So Warlock's pumping here, but Hunters are going to pump even more. Hunters, if you can, just get in and start melee weaving during this phase. It's absolutely useful, and it's an easy thing to do. Then just make sure you get out during the darkness. Warlocks also are going to enslave a void spawn right here. So you're going to see void spawns. I don't even, yeah, I'm at 1.5 speed, so it's not too bad. They're going to enslave a void spawn, and they do crazy amounts of damage on their AoE ability, their Shadow Bolt Volley. But the only catch is it doesn't show up on the logs for your parse, but it helps your raid a lot. So who cares, right? It massively helps your raid. And this is like an ad fight. You're basically dealing with ads the entire time of phase 1 with these either humanoid ads or with these giant Void Sentinel ads. And if you're dealing with the Void Sentinels well, then right after they die, they spawn the Void Spawns. I don't know how many, 6 maybe? They have pretty low HP. You can kill them pretty quickly, in all honesty. Although they can destroy the raid if they get too close or if they get too many Shadow Bolt volleys off. So slowing them, Cone of Cold, is absolutely useful. Parse over everything, yeah. Does none of the ads count towards parse? Not. It's just if you enslave the ad. It's just your enslave of the ad. Your ad doing its Shadow Bolt volley doesn't help your parse. DPS in the ads counts towards parse because, I mean, I'd have to check that, right? But it should. All right, they're already in phase 2. So they're absolutely giga pumping. And that was a really, really clean transition. You always want to get into phase 2 without humanoids up. If you can get into phase 2 before the next spawn of humanoids is the best. I have a link. Oh, yes. All right. Permit DP Sean. All right. There we go. Thank you, bruh. And now he should move and run away. Some people got hit by that little spawn. I always forget what it's called, but those are annoying. They're super easy to run away from, though. You do have the void zones on the ground, but there's like the black hole right there that just yoinks people around. It just throws you around if you get hit by it. He's pretty close to it and it might move directly into him. Let's see where it goes. All right, it chases people over there and people move away. So they do a really good job of getting away from that. Who got world first? Old School got world first. All right, let's do this. Let's look at the progress version of it. All right. Oh, this is actually technically Dolly watching himself with it. So they use Paladin pull. Bopping. They didn't get a dog with that, which I think is what they wanted to have. So that they could run through. Oh, and someone gets aggro. Someone did something so that they have aggro. Yeah, so everything's going to come into them. They're dead. Okay. Really, honestly, really clean pull. That's definitely I mean, it would have been a really clean pull. The idea of that pull is really clean. And I mean, if China had done that, they would have saved themselves even more time, right? If Old School had done that, they would have saved themselves even more time. Muru dead. Decent loot drops. We'll take it. And then onward to the big bad Kil'jaeden. Muru is absolutely, I would say, the hardest fight in this raid. It's the fight that's going to take the longest for most guilds to clear. It is the fight that's the most hectic for sure. Kil'jaeden, once your guild has experience with Kil'jaeden, it's a lot easier. I mean, there's a lot of personal responsibility in this raid, and if you mess up, you can kill people. Yeah. Dolly said they practiced that pull multiple times with PTR and it never happened. That's super unfortunate. That on top of the 2 soothe resists that they had, which is a 1% chance, really hurt progress, right? That's what really hurt progress. And potentially might have lost it for them. Yeah. Potentially what lost them it for them. Probably, actually, like for sure. Yeah. Pressure can cause mistakes. Well, the thing is, a soothe mistake is it's 1%. You can't get rid of that 1% chance, right? Even with max hit. That's so unlucky, you know? Yeah. My group that spent 12 hours. So they're going to run in directly in. Arcane bombs are going to be thrown most likely. There's a stun initially. There's a second stun there. More stuns. They're just chain stunning, actually. They might not even be using arcane bombs. And now maybe an arcane bomb. While this third ad, they actually just kept the third ad away just to be safe. The Shadow Volley on these ads on Kil'jaeden is actually like a 30-yard range. So you can keep the other ads away. Let's do this at normal speed. This speed. There we go. And now they're on to Kil'jaeden. This fight is like 5 different fights all at once. But the only thing about it to know is that once you understand everything. Sorry, this fight is not 5 different fights all at once. This fight is 5 different phases of the same fight. Slightly more things happen, right? Kel'Thas, on the other hand, was a fight in TK where it was 5 different fights at once, pretty much. So in here, once you get to... damn, they're just literally hitting each other. They don't even care. Once you get to 85%, these ads are going to spawn on someone random. And you do need to kill them. You're also going to have these shadow bolts coming out at you. If you get hit by those... it's bad for your raid, but it doesn't seem like they're literally dodging it at all. They're just healing through it, which is almost impressive, actually, because they just didn't move at all. They've been taking a ton of damage here, but not moving at all. Look at the damn DPS also that their hunters are putting out. 3.3k, 3k, and 3k. Both of these hunters end at 3.2k on the boss, and they're not even melee weaving. So I'm pretty sure the dragons that spawn, I'm pretty sure the dragons prio is the hunters. You can see that the hunters are stacking up. Look at that. The dragons prio on getting the haste buffs out is the hunters for this raid composition. Like all of the time, you really want to be buffing your hunters before you need to really stack. Call to stack is about to happen. Ooh. All right, there's the call to stack. Everyone get in. You can stop casting that. This is the most tilting part of the raid. Let me see if I can show what happened to me. Where's mine? I'm gonna die. I was trying to reach it. Oh my god, good for what? Look where I died. Oh my god. The scripting of this is so bad, but here's the thing. It also works the other way around. Fragnance. Yeah, fragnance. I said fragrance. Yeah. The scripting of this, like you're literally inside the bubble, but you need to be inside the bubble like a second early. You can't just hop into the bubble. It doesn't count, unfortunately. But also you can run outside of the bubble early, technically. Don't do that. I would not suggest that, but it does happen. Okay. Yeah, their raid comp is in significantly higher DPS. Like the single target DPS here on this fight is so much higher than what other comps we're seeing. If anyone doesn't know, the dragons moving around breathing people to boost their DPS, it gives them this haste buff. And that's why they're prioritizing probably like either the melee. Usually you're prioritizing like melee group or stacking a couple groups. But I think they're ideally prioritizing mostly the hunters because their hunters are pumping and like their rogue is going nuts. Whenever these ads are spawned, you can seed them down. Seeding off the ads is really nice too, because then the damage also hits Kil'jaeden himself. Yeah. Is it both melee and spell hits? Yeah, it's attack speed. It's crazy. Yeah. They do have insane gear, but everyone has pretty insane gear, right? They made it a new guild, old school, race the world first. But again, like I was saying, in China, it's not unlikely at all for people to... and they're killing these shield orbs pretty quickly. In China, it's not unlikely at all for people to literally use a different character that isn't their own character that has full bits gear. It is fully a thing. TNB at the end of Black Temple for speedruns rented out 2 full raid comps to try to do that. 2 full raid comps to try to get the world first. So now they're on the phase where they also have the meteors. So you can see the meteors here. The meteors are way bigger than it looks. That damage from the meteor, way bigger than it looks. This guy might die. Oh, gosh. Damage from the meteor is way bigger than it looks. So watch out for that. And then you obviously want to get into the group when you have the Flame Blossom whenever the shield is out. They did have a shaman just die there, and Ankh himself. And another shaman is dead right now. A lot of Flame Blossoms happening on this warlock that we're watching. That's kind of unfortunate RNG, but that's just something that happens. And you can see again, the dragons are just trying to get some flames out. They've passed into the last phase under 25%, where you can start actually having 2 dragons, especially once you kill these last set of ads, which is something they want to deal with soon. They might just be leaving these ads up because it's hunter ads. It's hard to move them. They're slowly bringing them into the boss, getting breath buff on himself, seeding these ads down. Once these ads are dead and the new shield orb is available, they're actually, or dragon orb, they're going to send usually 2 people to go get those dragon orbs. So then you're just getting multiple buffs, and the boss will start doing his darkness more often. The boss will start doing his darkness more often. So you need to basically rotate the shields, or you could double shield if you want. I don't know if there's much of a point to it. Maybe you take even less damage, and you don't actually need to rotate the shield. One dragon can cover all of this, but you can get more buffs, more haste buffs out on the raid. And with that, boom. Rogue number 1, 3.2k DPS. Fragrance and Brain Deadly also ended up at 3.2k. They both, pretty much everyone in here got the 100. Well, obviously, this is the first kill. But the damage done from everyone, let's go friendlies, was crazy in this raid. Rogue at 3.3k DPS. Yeah, 2 shields is more room to dodge the meteors, especially if you need to get out fast, right? And again, they have 2 Shadow Priests, 1 Ret Paladin. They're running just 2 Enhanced Shamans, but they do swap all of their... They always swap their Shamans. Shout out to Migo, one of Draft's boys. Yeah, this is just such pump, dude. They blasted through this raid. 51 minutes for the world first clear, and they technically could have been faster if they did the skip that other guilds went for. But they just didn't need to. They literally just didn't need to. They just were more clean, higher raid DPS. Look at this raid DPS. It's so high. It's so high. Like the survival is the one down at 1.9k. Everyone is really, really high DPS on basically every encounter. And this raid comp really features that really well, especially because obviously the rogue, although this might be bugged. Yeah, that was kind of bugged. I don't know how the damage started early, but their Brutalis, they also pumped. I don't know why it says 6 minutes. It's not a 6-minute fight. Yeah. So Wait till they get Thoradol and full buffs. Some of the top hunters in the world have already gotten Thoradol. A lot of them have actually dropped. A lot of people are getting Thoradol already. So grats to everybody getting it. I'm jealous. One day we're going to get it. It's fine. One day we're going to get it. It's cool, guys. Huge grats to Old School. Grats to everyone in the top 10. You guys absolutely pumped. Space Force also representing the US. Spineless. And obviously welcome. Yeah. When does the meteor start coming down? It's in the 55% phase. Yeah. There's three phases. 85% add spawn. Then you move into the phase 2. He starts doing like the shadow nova slowly comes out at you. 55%, and then 25% is like the burn phase where you have 2 dragons and they start blasting. Maybe we do rogue instead of warrior. Yeah, if I get glaives on my rogue, maybe we bring rogue back. Did I send you the clip? I need to see the clip I sent you on Twitch Messenger for a good laugh. Okay, let's check it out, guys. Oh, and anyone watching this on YouTube, because I'll put this up on YouTube. Thanks for coming in and hanging out, and make sure to like and subscribe.